Hi everyone, it's Don from Don's Family Vacations. Today I'm going to bring you 30 things not to do on your next cruise. And these things can get you in trouble and even kicked off the ship, and it can just basically ruin your vacation. So yeah, we're going to talk about these 30 things not to do on a cruise right after this. Number one, don't smoke in your cabin, and don't smoke anywhere that's not in a designated smoking zone. These are not only for the convenience of passengers and everyone around, not being, affected by the smoke and things like that. It's also safety reasons on the ship. And if you're caught smoking in your cabin, you can be escorted off the ship at the next port. So that's one thing you definitely don't want to do. Number two, don't book too many shore excursions back to back to back, or even two in the same day. You'll end up being exhausted by the end of your cruise, and you won't feel like you've enjoyed your trip. You're just going to feel like you're always go, 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 and you're not really seeing what you're going there to see. So pick 1, 2, 3, depending on the length of your cruise, but the ones that you really want to do, and save the others till the next time you cruise, because if you have a more enjoyable trip, you're definitely going to be cruising again. Number 3, no matter what your argument is or how mad you are, if you're talking to a staff member, never ever raise your voice to the point where you're yelling. That can get you escorted off the ship. That can just, the staff isn't going to take it, and you're not going to get things resolved by yelling at somebody. So try and keep your calm at all times, and things usually work out all the time. 99 times out of 100, the cruise line is going to do whatever they can to make you happy. So just yelling and screaming at someone isn't going to solve a single thing. Number 4, don't overeat. I know there's tons of food on the cruises, and it's available 24 hours a day at some place on the ship. But don't overeat. They'll make more. There's going to be more food tomorrow. There's going to be more food in an hour. They'll make more. You don't have to eat it all at one sitting, because when you overeat, you just feel stuffed all the time and you don't feel like doing anything. And if you're just sitting around and not doing anything, feeling stuffed, it's not really going to be a great vacation. Number 5, if it's not a good idea to overeat, it's also not a good idea to overdrink. Overdrinking, getting drunk on a cruise ship, causing a disturbance is, again, one of those things that can get you kicked off a cruise ship. And the next day you're just hungover and don't want to get out of bed, and now you're wasting part of your cruise because of that. So limit yourself, know your limit, don't overindulge, and just have a good time. Just have a good time where you remember what you did. Number 6, don't forget the sunscreen. Too many people live in southern states and they think, oh, I got a good base, or I know what the sun's like, and then you go into the Caribbean and the sun is different and you still end up burning. So always bring lots of sunscreen and slather it on, and buy it before you get on the cruise ship, because sunscreen on a cruise ship is probably double to triple the price. Number 7, in the spa areas and that, they always offer teeth whitening, and it's a very good service, but don't ever do it near the beginning of your cruise, because it makes your mouth very, very sensitive for about 2 or 3 days afterwards. So how would you like it to be around all those delicious things to eat? You bought the all-you-can-drink drink packages, and your mouth is too sore to eat or drink for the first 3 days of your cruise. So if you're going to get your teeth whitened, do it near the end of your cruise. Number 8, don't fly off the handle every time some little thing goes wrong. Cruising is one of those vacations that you have to learn to go with the flow. Sometimes a ship might be an hour late getting to a dock because of the weather, because of the waves, because of conditions. There might be another boat that needed to make an emergency stop ahead of you. All kinds of reasons. And if you let every little thing bother you, you're going to have a bad time. So learn to go with the flow, because cruising is supposed to be relaxing. And that's the way you should always look at it, no matter what happens. Number 9, don't be afraid to ask. If there's something that you forgot, or there's something that you would like in your stateroom, don't be afraid to ask somebody for it. It's their job to try and make your cruise as comfortable as possible and as enjoyable as possible. If that means you want extra towels or you want more pillows, ask for it. If you want a certain meal during your dining that you don't see on the menu, ask for it. Most of the time, you're going to get it, so don't be afraid to ask for what you want. Number 10, no matter what you do and what kind of insurance you do, get medical travel insurance. I don't care how long your cruise is or how often you cruise, get medical insurance, period. Number 11, never ever forget airplane mode on your cell phone, because you don't want to get roaming charges on a 14-day cruise and come back with a $1,000 cell phone roaming charges bill. Number 12, never ever book a flight home too early in the day your cruise comes back. A lot of the times you're off the ship by 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, yes, but sometimes something happens. The ship is late getting back. You never know. If you book a 10 a.m. flight and your cruise ship docks at 9, you only have an hour to get off to the airport, get through security. Yeah, it's not going to happen. Always book at least 1 p.m. or later in the day, just to be safe. Number 13, don't go super cheap. And what I mean that is, yeah, it's okay to save money on your cruise and things like that, but don't do that guaranteed inside stateroom if you know that it might put you beside the elevator and you're not going to get good night's sleep, and you're saving $200. If you're spending $3,000, is that $200 worth it to never sleep properly on your cruise or get woken up early every morning? That's what I mean by don't go super cheap. If it's only a matter of a few dollars more, make it, take it, make sure you have a more enjoyable trip than just going super cheap on every single thing you can do. Number 14, don't be loud in the hallways. Other people are in this cruise as well, and when you come back from a party at night with 3 or 4 couples that were all together, you're walking down the corridors, don't be yelling and talking and the loud of your voice and everything. Other people might have kids and they're trying to sleep, and it's not super quiet through these staterooms by no means. So have some respect for other passengers late at night and just go back to your hotel room. If you want to talk and yell and things like that, stay out in the public areas and do that. Number 15, if you can and you're physically able, take the stairs instead of taking the elevator. If you're only going 1 flight up or a couple flights down, don't take up elevator space where people with wheelchairs or walkers have a hard time to do those kind of things. And another thing, when you're waiting for your elevator and the door's open, don't stand 6 inches away from the door in front of the elevator. Let people, step aside. Let people get off the elevator, and don't start clamming into the elevator when there's still people in there trying to get off. Just have some elevator etiquette and have respect for other people. One day I'm going to have to do a video on just elevator etiquette, because that's one of my pet peeves, is me trying to get off an elevator and somebody standing there like this expecting me to try and get around them instead of just staying a little bit to the side and leaving an opening. I don't understand people like that. Number 16, don't forget proper footwear. Oh, I'm in Jamaica and I'm going to the falls and we're going to walk through the falls in the water, so I'm going to bring my flip-flops. Yeah, bring your flip-flops, but you may have a few hundred yards to walk to get to those waterfalls, and you're going to be walking through the forest and rocks and things like that, so yeah, the flip-flops aren't going to be the best footwear, so make sure you bring proper footwear for what you're going to be doing. Number 17, don't be rude, be polite. Not only the staff that's there and the stateroom attendants, but also other people when you're getting on to the tenders to go there and there's people sort of saying, go ahead and let them on. Be nice, strike up conversations, have a nice conversation with people you're having dinner with. It'll make the cruise so much more enjoyable. I, to this day, still have emails back and forth to people that I met 20 years ago on cruises. So you can make some lifelong friends that way. So yeah, don't be rude, be polite, and it really makes a difference on your cruise. Number 18, I know a lot of people are like this, are very, very shy and keep to themselves. Try not to do that. Try and be more outgoing when you're on a cruise, because there's a lot of activities that involve lots of people. There's game shows, there's shows by the pools, there's the shore excursions where you interact with people, there's dining that you might be sitting with other people. So try your best not to be into that little zone of yourself, and try and be out there more with people. Don't be as shy. Be a more outgoing person as best you can. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. Number 19, don't be late to the muster drill. You know what time the muster drill is. You know where you're supposed to be. Everyone's escorting you and telling you where to go. Don't be that person that shows up 5 and 10 minutes late because you couldn't be bothered to head to the muster drill. Meanwhile, there's 3,000 people standing around waiting to do the muster drill, and your section can't even start until you show up to do the muster drill. So you've kept everybody else waiting because you're special. And if you're not going to be late for the muster drill, definitely don't be late getting back to the ship, because that ship's not going to wait for you. It's going to take off. Unless you're on a shore excursion and it's the shore excursion's fault for not getting you back, then they end up waiting for you. But if you're on your own shore excursion or you're heading off shopping, yeah, wave goodbye to the ship if you're late, because they're going to take off, because they have to pay port fees, and the longer they're in the ports, the more money they have to pay. Number 21, the walls in the cabins are paper thin. It's like Bristol board. It's not a brick wall between, or a metal wall. It's not like your apartment buildings or homes. So don't forget, your neighbors can probably hear you once you raise your voice just a little bit. And when the ship's all quiet in the middle of the night, if you're doing things in your cabin that you don't want your neighbors to really particularly hear, remember, they might just be able to hear, so shh. Just try and keep it down a little more. Number 22, don't forget to have fun. Don't be so worried about scheduling things and oh, I got to see this show, and then I got to see this show, and then I got to take that class, and oh, they're having a speaker speak at this session, then we got to get to the dining, don't forget the dining, oh, and then I want to be up on the deck for this to see the sunset, and then I want to get back to the room because I want to do... Try and relax. That's what cruises are best at. Letting you relax, letting you do some fun things and unwind. So don't overschedule things, learn to relax, and don't forget to just have fun. Number 23, don't buy the drink package if you only drink 2 or 3 drinks a night, because it's definitely not worth it. Also, a lot of cruise lines will sometimes throw in the drink package as a perk. Well, take a look at that. That's one of the reasons it's good to have an agent, because for myself, I may have 1 or 2 drinks a night on a cruise at the very, very most. And if they throw in that, if I have a choice between all these different perks, like $50 shore excursions, or free Wi-Fi, or free dining, or the beverage package, well, when you buy the beverage package, even though it's free, they still charge you the gratuities on top of that. So whatever the cost was, so say it's $500 for that drink package, you got to pay 18% anyway on that drink package. So it can raise your price up $200, $300, $400 sometimes, depending on how long your cruise is and how many people there are involved. Where dining, the same amount will only go up like $20 or $30, and free Wi-Fi is like free. There's no added charge on top of that. So don't take drink package perk just for the sake of throwing it in, because it's going to cost you more money. Number 24, as any experienced cruiser will tell you, if you're flying into a port, don't fly in the day of, because so many things can happen. Snowstorms, flight delay. I've had the airport just get so busy with controllers that the controllers couldn't get the aircraft out fast enough, and people miss their flight. There's no weather, there's no nothing, beautiful days, and they still end up missing their flights. And the same thing will happen to your cruise. Fly in the day before. It's worth spending $100 on a hotel, flying in the day before, and making sure you don't miss the cruise. Number 25, don't forget to do the check-in online. Don't wait till you get to the port, because your embarkation day will end up being twice as long if you haven't done the pre-registration. You can put your credit card in that you're going to be using. You can put all the names of the travelers in there, and it makes it much smoother and quicker to get through that line when you show up for your cruise. Number 26, never bring candles to your cruise. They won't make it on board. They will confiscate it because they don't want open flames in the cabins for obvious reasons. Number 27, don't be a deck chair hog. You know what I mean. Don't be one of those people that get up at like 6 in the morning, go out and put a whole bunch of things on deck chairs in the prime location right by the pool, and then go off for breakfast. And expect those things to be sitting there 2 hours later when you come back from breakfast and a nap. Because nowadays the cruise lines are looking for that stuff, and they'll remove your belongings and put them into a locker. Number 28, don't stay in your comfort zone. Try new things, whether it be food, shore excursions, or just things on the ship. I've done karaoke on the ship, and I have a horrible singing voice. I've done the flow rider. I'm 55 years old. I'm on the flow rider looking like a fool, but I try it and I have a great time doing it. So don't be afraid to experience new things on a cruise ship. Number 24, don't skip the shows. They might not be your cup of tea or your forte. You might say, oh, I'm not really into Broadway shows or anything like that. But you never know until you check them out. And you can always leave if you're not enjoying yourself. But quite often people who were never interested in shows like that end up loving them and seeing them more than once when they're on the ships. And finally, tip number 30, and it's an important one. Never ever let people know your name and your room number on the ship. It's okay to say, hi, I'm Dawn, blah, 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 glad to meet you, blah, blah, blah. But never let them know what stateroom you're staying in. It doesn't happen as much anymore, but it does still happen where people will then go out to a bar, say on the second last night of the cruise, and they'll say, oh, I'm so-and-so from this cabin, I forgot my lanyard with my thing, just charge it to my room. And the people will charge it to your room. And then when you go to check out, you end up having, a $600 alcohol bill on your account and you don't drink. So never, ever, ever give out your room number and your name. Just tell them your name and, oh yeah, I'm staying on deck 10. So there you go. There's 30 things not to do on a cruise ship. And technically there's a lot more. But there's a lot more things to do on a cruise ship that make it so much more enjoyable and so fun to actually be a cruiser instead of a land-based vacation. So hopefully you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. You want to see more videos, more tip videos, and more travel vlogs, please hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a great and a safe vacation.